Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything, so I felt like it was time to come back to it and complete what I promised last time. I believe the last video I built Sentinel-01, a standalone monitoring server with Prometheus and Grafana, and I believe at the end I also was able to capture data from my server into it. um, so this time what I want to do is I want to automate the process via Ansible, and I want to capture everything within my inventory. Let's see what's in my inventory. So I want to be able to capture all the data from all these hosts into a Grafana dashboard. All right, so the first thing I need to do, I'm going to set up a role in Ansible. I think that's the easiest way to do it instead of just creating a massive playbook. So to do that, let me go ahead and structure what I need. So I need to make a directory. Let me go into roles, make gear -p, and we're gonna name this node exporter. And I need a default directory, handlers, tasks, and templates. I think that's all I need for now. All right, so I'm going to start with the main file for defaults, which is for variables. Let me go into default. Did I not create a default? Yes, I did. So node default. The main file. So I'm not going to make you watch through everything that I need to type. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to type up everything that I need, and then I'm going to go over every single variable that I create. Okay, so let's just go ahead and save and exit out of this one. And now I need to go over to templates and create a main file under templates for my systemd. And actually, it's not a main file. It's a Jinja file that I need to create. So under templates, I want to create node underscore exporter that service that j2. Again, you've seen this being done already when I did the manual process, so I'm not gonna make you watch it. So let me pause the video real quick, and then I'm gonna come back once it's all done, and I'll try to explain it. Okay, so what this template do is basically creating the service that needs to be started for node exporter for Prometheus. I'm sorry. And as you can see, it's a Jinja 2 template, and it's calling the variables that we created on the last file on the in the defaults main that YAML file. So that's what these are. It's calling those variables uh, to use for this configuration file. This is a template that's going to be pushed to every single host. So the next thing I need to do now is I need to create a handler. So when there's a service that needs to be started in the main playbook, the handler will be called to restart that particular service. So let's go ahead and create that. So handlers main.yaml. This one's small, so I guess I'll type it in without pausing the video. So we're gonna give it a name. It's gonna be a restart node exporter Ansible. This is the module we're going to be using. Ansible built-in systemd. Name, the name of the service, node exporter. Then we need to give it a state, and we want it to be restarted. So we want to restart when it needs to be restarted, and we need to reload the daemon. Daemon reload, and we want this to set that to true. Okay. So again, to further explain what a handler does, in simple terms, a handler only fires if a task actually changed something and notified it. Install a new binary or change the unit file, and the service restarts. Change nothing, and and it doesn't do anything, which is why rerunning the playbook doesn't um, needlessly bounces the service or on 20 machines. So if nothing changes and you rerun the same playbook, but there's no change state within the playbook, then the handler won't restart the service, which is a good practice. And that's basically what this is doing. All right, so the next thing I need to create now, I need to create the main file, the main tasks file. That's the meat and potato, basically. Main.yaml. So this is where I'm gonna actually describe every single task that needs to take place. That's gonna be called by the playbook. So this is gonna take a while. Let me write this down. We'll type this up, and then I'm gonna come back to it and try to explain it as much as possible in clear terms so it makes sense to you guys. But I'm not gonna make you watch it, as I type it. It's just gonna make the video way too long. All right, so let's go ahead and go through it. So basically, tasks 1 and 2. It's the service account, a system user with no shell and no home. It only needs to read the kernel statistics, so it can never be logged into. Task 3, which is this one right here, downloads and extracts in one step directly on each host. The create line makes it idempotent. So basically, you won't change it if it already exists, or you won't override it. Like I said, if the binary is already extracted, so nothing's gonna re-download basically. Tasks 4 and 5. So these two, um, it installs the binary and the unit file. Both notify the restarts handler. That's the last file we created before. So the service only bounces when something actually changes. Then task 7, it's that this one is actually that's this one, task 7, the firewall. The firewall rule is a rich rule, scope to the monitoring service address. To port 9100, it's not open to the whole network, only to the machines that legitimately scrape it. So basically, my Sentinel-01 host, and eventually I'm gonna have another one for an HA setup. And finally, task 8, the role verifies its own work. If metric, slash metrics doesn't answer 200 within 5 tries, the play fails loudly instead of pretending that it worked. So that's basically what all these tasks are doing. For the most part, I believe they're pretty self-explanatory. Again, I'm calling the variables that we created in the defaults directory, in the defaults.main.yaml file. That's where you define all of your variables. So that's, as you can see, they're being utilized all over the place in here. I'm calling them everywhere. And that's the best practice. That's the best way of doing it. Just set up your variables in one place and call them from there. It makes it a lot easier to handle. All right, the next thing, I need to create another template file, another Jinja file. So let me do that. So I'm gonna create a file, node exporter. Again, under templates, that's where your Jinja file goes. And this is for my Prometheus target YAML file. So it's gonna be Prometheus -target YAML.j2. This one's gonna be tricky. So again, I'm gonna pause the video and then I'll try to explain it as much as possible. All right, so that's pretty much what I need for the template. So that tier label is the whole trick. Prometheus stamps it onto every metric from those hosts, and Grafana can filter it, which is what makes the drop-down menu work later. So you'll see how my inventory group becomes a menu item in Grafana. To give you a better visualization of what it's going to look like, it's basically this, all of this right here, this Jinja template translates to this. Again, I don't have everything in here. I only have an example for my Kubernetes cluster for master 1, then node 01. You're going to see the label is going to say Kubernetes cluster. Then I have another one for my HA proxies, a label tiers for LB, and so on. You'll see another one for my FreeIPA servers. Then it's going to be one for GitLab, NFS, and whatever else I have in there. So that's basically what this is doing. So let me go ahead and save and exit out of this. The next thing I need to do is now I actually need to create the playbook. So the playbook is what calls the role and actually executes everything. So let's go ahead and create that playbook. Let's call it deploy node exporter .yaml. That's pretty self-explanatory. And let's see. So let's start with, we're gonna give it a name. Install node exporter across the fleet. That's pretty cool. Host, that's going to be my target. So I'm going to target every single host. Become true. Basically, I need to sudo up, become root. Roles, I'm going to call the role that I created. And that's the node exporter role. And then I need to create a task inside for something else, for actually configuring to update the Prometheus target list. So let me create that. So I'm going to do, so you can have multiple plays. I'm sorry, not tasks. So you can have multiple plays within a playbook. So the first set is calling everything from the role that I created, and now I'm actually creating a play inside. So update the Prometheus target list. And again, that's going to be host. So this is going to be my Sentinel host, which is under monitoring group, host group name. Become true. I do need to become. And I need vars file. I need a file. So I need to create that too. Actually, did I create this? Yeah, so this is going to be the my defaults file. I need my variables because I'm going to be using variables. Let's go to roles, node exporter, defaults that main.yaml. So that way I have those variables available, because if I wasn't to declare this line right here, yes, these variables are available here when I run all these tasks inside this role, but then these other independent tasks that I'm about to create, they won't have access to these variables. So that's why I need to call it. I need to make it available for them. Okay, so now I need to actually start defining my tasks. Name, create a target directory. So let me go ahead and create this real quick, and I'll come back to it and I'll explain it to you guys. Okay, so again, 2 plays. The first installs the agent on every host. The second runs only on the monitoring group. That's Sentinel-01. Eventually, it's going to be a -02. But it can still see the entire inventory through the groups variable. That's how one machine writes a file describing all all the others. Um, so role defaults only exist for hosts that actually run the role in that play. So play 2 has no role attached to it. So without the vars underscore file line, node underscore exporter underscore groups is undefined, and the template task fails. So that will be an Ansible lesson that will bite you, in the behind when you create multiplay playbooks, if you're trying to use if you're trying to call or use variables that you created in a different location. So that's the reasoning for again, like I explained earlier, for this right here. So that's why I was doing that, so I can have access to those variables. All right, so now let's go ahead and run some checks, some syntax checks to make sure that I don't have any typos or anything like that, which I almost always do. Playbook, deploy. Come on. You kidding me? What's going on? It's just decided to take a dump on me. Come on. Playbooks. Deploy. There we go. Syntax check. There we go. So what is it complaining about? Error could not resolve module action, Ansible built-in. Yep, I have a typo in there. And this is for tasks main. Okay. So let's go roles, tasks, main, and it's complaining about Ansible built-in on archive. So that's this guy right here. Ansible built in. There should be a period. Let's run it again. There's probably more. So now it's complaining vars file is not a valid attribute for a play. What do you mean it's not a valid attribute for a play? Vars underscore file. Vars file. Is it files or file? I don't remember. I think it's files. I haven't done this in a while. I think I need an S. Run that check one more time. Okay, that's better. So the next check I want to run is with Ansible lint. Ansible dash lint roles node exporter. And I also want to do playbooks, deploy, and let's see if it complains about anything. Ansible lint basically is going to check spaces. What else? Okay, what is it complaining about? Lint for violations that are fatal. Okay, playbook deploy node YAML 40. Trailing spaces. Okay, it's complaining about empty spaces. Fully qualified domain name you should use. Module name Ansible. Okay, whatever. That's fine. I'll fix that. Spaces. Okay. So they're not really fail after minimal profile for failure warnings. And you okay? I don't care about this. So yeah, these are not really big issues. They're not. The playbook will run, but let me fix that real quick. Okay, so these are just trailing spaces. It's fine. I'm not gonna worry about that. I fixed as much as I could. There shouldn't be any more errors. So let me do a small run. I'm just gonna limit it to the load balancers. So let's run the playbook. Let's see if if it's actually gonna work. So let's do Ansible playbook, playbooks, deploy, and I'm gonna limit this to the load balancers. So that's just 2 hosts. So let's see what happens. Okay, so HA proxy 1, HA proxy 2, created a group, created a service account, it's downloading and unpack the software, the binary. Okay, so I have an issue here. It said message not exporter. Ah, okay. It's undefined, so I have a typo. Okay, so let me go back in there and fix that real quick. So that should be under roles, defaults, node explorer defaults, main. So this is where I'm defining all the variables. It should be in here, I believe. So I found the typo right here. It should be S CRAPERS. Copy. And let's rerun it. Gathering facts. Okay, so now you're gonna see a lot of OKs, meaning it's not changing anything because it's already at the state that it needs to be. So the account's already created, the group is already created. It's skipping to re-download the software. So all this stuff that was already done. Now when you see change, those are the only things that actually took place that needed to configure. Everything else is already in place. Update the Prometheus target list, skipping the host match. Yeah, because that goes to Sentinel-01. Okay, so that worked. So let's run it on everything and let's see what happens. Okay, so let's clear the screen, rerun this without a limit. So again, it's gonna target again the load balancers, but you're just gonna see an okay. So yeah, let's go for it. There it is, Azure Proxy 1, FreeIPA, FreeIPA 2. Okay, so able to get the facts. So those are all the hosts that is targeting right now. There goes my Kubernetes cluster. Create the accounts. So there we go. So it's creating accounts. Everything you see that it says change, that means it was not at the state that they needed to be. So he's actually making those changes on those target hosts. Okay, so it's keeping actually proxy 1 and 2 because we're already at the state. Failure to download. Okay, so there's an issue with server A, B, C, and D. That's fine. I don't care about those. Those are my RHCE VMs. They're a mess, so that's fine. I don't care. Okay. Enable start exporter. Allow. Okay, that's good. Okay. And yeah, I think those server A, B, C, and D are running rel 8. What happened here? So I have another issue. Write the target file from, well, I have a typo in there. Okay. The full traceback using the error was if you're using a module and expect the file to exist in the remote, see the remote. Okay. The remote option. So let me get rid of this these 4 servers. Let me rerun this real quick. Alright, so I had a few typos that I fixed, and let me comment out these guys. So let me get rid of those guys. I don't want to target those. And let's rerun that playbook. So I'm going to rerun it against everything again. Hopefully I don't have any more issues, but we'll see. We should see a lot of okays and a lot of green, meaning everything is already at the state that we want it to be. Okay. It's not going to download it because it's already there, so it's good. And that's a good thing about Ansible. It's if your target host is already at the state that the task is trying to apply, it's not going to make any changes. It's already going to leave it the way it is. So if in the event that it's like if you were running a bash command, you're going to keep rewriting and updating file stamps, date stamps, which is not good if you're doing auditing. You want to make sure everything's at the state where it was last set the way it needed to be. Okay, Prometheus reload. Status code was -1 and not 200. Request fail. Redirected false status. Localhost 9090. Reload. Alright, Sentinel. Let me check on that real quick. Okay, so I think I have a typo in here too. So let me go over to playbooks, deploy, and it should be this one right here. So it needs to be Ansible built-in URI. That's fine. Then we need URL HTTPS. There's no S. I don't have SSL certificates. Then we'll do localhost 9090 / reload. That looks good. Then we'll do method post status underscore code 200 changed underscore when true. That looks okay. I think. We double check again. What am I doing here? So, ah, I'm missing this. I'm missing the double quotes in here. Insert double quotes. Okay, so let's rerun it. So it's just failing on this guy on money, which is Sentinel. What am I doing? Oh my god, what am I doing? Ansible playbooks. Limit to. Okay. Let's see what it does now. So as you can see, I'm doing this as I go. I'm not like pre-recording all this. I'm just working on it right now, and that's why I'm getting all these typos and errors, which is fine, you know. Trial and error, and this is how you learn. There we go. Good. So everything should be good now. So now what I need to do, let me see. It should be showing up now in Prometheus, I think. If I look at, I always forget. What do I see all my hosts? Hold on. Okay, so we have it working in here now. So let me double check. I should be able to see all those hosts talking to Prometheus and then to Grafana. So now I should be able to see all the targets in here. There we go. Connection refused with GitLab. That's fine. That's something else I gotta do. You see, but now I can see all of my hosts in Prometheus. Um, so Prometheus pulls agents, don't push. You know, so the node exporter is a passive web server. He publishes numbers at slash metrics and then it waits. Prometheus reaches out on a schedule. That's why the firewall rule lives on the target and allows the monitoring server in. So now we can see all this stuff. So from here, now I can come to my dashboard and create a dashboard. I'm at 27 minutes already, so I'm not sure if I want to spend the time doing that right now. Let me see how long it will take. Let me try to just recreate it to create the dashboard, and then I'll come back in a second. All right, so I'm back at the dashboard for Grafana. So I was able to get this tier. This is a drop down that I was talking about. So if I go here now, you can see all the other stuff. So I can do FreeIPA. Then it'll give me. So once I create a dashboard, it'll give me the data for FreeIPA. Same thing if I do for my Kubernetes cluster. So if I was to create a new dashboard and then configure it here, then I will see the data for my Kubernetes cluster. So this is the main thing that I wanted to see. That's what I was configuring, trying to get. I could get all the data once I configure a dashboard, all the data for all the hosts in one dashboard. Creating the dashboard will take quite some time, so I'm not gonna show that. I already did that on my last video. But again, if you have any questions, if you like this video, let me know. Please give it a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe. If you have any questions, if you want me to go into more details in regards to the Ansible configuration, if you want me to explain what each module does, every option, and go into more details, instead of just a high overview of what I was doing, I can most definitely do that. Just let me know, and I can pick another subject and start with something more simpler, easier to explain. But again, the main thing that I wanted to show was the automation of being able to capture data from multiple hosts through Prometheus and pull it through Grafana, create this drop-down arrow menu, and then be able to create a dashboard for each host or for all the hosts. Again, I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.